Listeners, Season 3, Episode 4, here with Cal Wray, the president of the Augusta Economic Development Authority. On this episode, we're going to be talking about that big question. What are local drivers here in the area? Who are those movers and shakers that are keeping our economy flourishing? We're going to talk about big projects, some notable companies who are doing great things here, some local programs helping uplift our youth through education and practical experience. It's going to be an episode you don't want to miss. It's live right now. Thanks for watching. And we are back, everybody. Episode 4 of the Market Shakers podcast, and we are still continuing along on our development series here. The question we're answering is how are your local leaders affecting your property values by driving in the commerce that boosts our local economy day in and day out? And to continue this series, fantastic mind, been around since I've been getting more involved in this community. Cal Wray, president of the Development Authority for the city of Augusta. Cal, how you doing?
Good. Good to be here today.
Yes, sir. And Cal, so for those who do not know you, who are you? Where do you come from? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So a little bit about my background. Grew up in Alabama, got to Augusta January of 18, so coming up on 8 years here.
Okay.
Before that, I was in Clarksville, Tennessee, which is about 45 minutes north of Nashville. Before that, Dublin, Georgia. Spent 5 years in Clarksville, spent 7 years in Dublin, and before that, I did this in Alabama.
A lot of good people I know from Dublin, Georgia.
Me too.
A lot of really good people. Okay, excellent. Yeah, we've got some friend and family ties in Dublin, so we'll explore that later. Because I don't want to miss out on anybody. They'll get sad. So Alabama, Clarksville, Dublin. What took you from city to city to city?
Really job.
Okay.
So I've been doing this coming up on 23 years.
Okay.
All in the development authority world, all in the industrial side. Some were partners with chambers, some were independent.
Okay.
But really job to job, took me from place to place.
And you came from you were in Alabama previously or Clarksville previously?
Previously, before Augusta, was in Clarksville.
Clarksville. Okay. And you came down here and you were hired on as the president?
That's right.
Okay. Excellent. So tell me a little bit about that. What was how did you discover this opportunity? Were you approached? Did you reach out?
Well, having been in Dublin for 7 years and making the jump to Tennessee, and I had connections to the Nashville market, so that's what got me to Nashville. But there had been calls from Georgia over the years while I was there to get back here, and Augusta reached out to me, said no a few times, and then the state reached out, said, why don't you give them a chance? And fortunately, the board back in 2018 or late 2017 finally convinced me to give Augusta a shot. Went through the process and enjoyed the entire time here in 8 years.
9 years. 2017 does not feel that long ago.
Yeah, time passes quick.
The days are long and the years are short. Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
It's like, God, I remember what I was doing 2017, 2018, and oh my gosh. So you've been here for 8-9 years. We're past that 7-year itch a little bit. So
Yep.
seem to enjoy it. Okay. And
very much so. Wife and the kids enjoy it too.
Okay. Cool. And y'all are here in the Augusta area in Richmond County, enjoying it. And
exactly. All kids are in Richmond County schools.
So tell me a little bit about this. So when you moved to Augusta, I always love hearing this from people who've been here for the time you have. What expectations do you have coming to Augusta? What changed since you've lived here? What have you really just come to enjoy? What's kept you here?
Well, the job. I love the job. Love the board, even though the board tends to have some movement. Enjoy my board members. Enjoy the independency. Is that even a word? I enjoy the flexibility they give us to come up with our program of work. How do we want to try to better Augusta? I actually enjoy the commission. The commission is open ear, even though politics can get in the way sometimes. The Augusta commissioners respect what we do. Our board members respect what we do. We've had a pretty good run over 8 years.
Okay. And you know, and what you do once again, this whole series, we just talk about. I drove through. What inspired me, I'll tell you what inspired me was, I was driving through South Carolina, and you have all these little mill towns, and you know, you just see what has happened with these towns when these big industries have left, and we focus on the, you know, what the federal government's doing, and we focus on these big presidential elections and all the hoopla and how popular it is. And then you take that and you look at the numbers from between those elections and then the local elections and the local leaders who are making the decisions to hire people like you. And you know, in my opinion, I think it's very clear once you look at it. I mean, it's what you do is far more important to our area than what, you know, someone in Washington D.C. does.
I,
Um,
I agree with that.
right.
Local is so much more important. Yeah, the federal government, you can take advantage of some opportunities sometimes, but local decisions really drive what we do, drive how a community can grow or fall into disrepair.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And like I say, we're not going to get into politics. You know, we have some elections coming up. We really do. And, you know, I think it's, you know, one of my goals with this series is to really push, you know, we need to show up and we need to vote. We need to look at those candidates and make informed and strong decisions, because once again, those candidates get elected. They look at people like you and they say, Cal's a great qualified person to come out here and lead the charge for development in the area, and good things come from that. So enough on that part. So, you know, what is, I would think one of the things that you really enjoy about your work is that it's not monotonous. It's not the same thing every day. But tell me a little bit about what you do every day.
So our entity was created early 70s. Like many development authorities in the Southeast, it was designed to bring jobs to these smaller communities, especially in the 70s. Communities were a lot smaller, and it was to find ways to bring jobs and to diversify the economies. So when I got here in 18, our office had really become we're chasing large employers. Everyone else, good luck, but don't bother us.
Mm-hmm.
So we really tried to look at that and change it. We want to partner with our chambers, our CVBs, the other entities that try to do development in Augusta. And it's not just big business, it's also small business, it's medium sized business. How do we find different opportunities for all the citizens of Augusta to have quality jobs that are careers and not just a job? They can
Okay.
support a family, they can improve families. Obviously, we have a large poverty rate in Augusta. How do you help get people out of poverty, and how do you find the right employers that can impact those families' lives?
Okay. And so you're connecting. See, what I'm hearing is you're working with all these different groups, and you're just connecting, and
Yeah.
you're constantly
And it's
putting pieces
twofold. It's
together.
connecting locally, but then it's going outside of Augusta, finding opportunities for these job creators to consider Augusta to be on their map and to see if we can't induce their investment here. But then it's also taking care of those that already made the decision to invest in Augusta.
Okay.
How do you help them continue to grow and to provide those quality jobs and not have a big loss of job like you see in many small communities in the Southeast? You had one major employer, that employer closes, and some of these communities become almost like a ghost town. And that's
Mm-hmm.
happened all over the Southeast. Pick a state, I can tell you a city in that state that has had huge job loss, and the entire area has changed because of those opportunities are gone.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want that for Augusta.
No, we do not. And you know, we have a very big thing here. A couple very big things. I was talking to a real estate professional outside of Hawaii, or in Hawaii. He was in Hawaii for years, and he was in there in the 90s when they had 3 bases shut down. He says people's property values in the 90s dropped 60% over the course of a few years. 60%. That's like triple of what the 2008 crisis did on the big scale. So, you know, that's your federal level, that's your banking, that's your regulations. That screws up. Everyone gets this big old crash happens, and over the course of 2-3 years, you've lost anywhere from 15 to 20% of your home's market value. You go to Hawaii, and your local your bases get removed. And they're akin to any large employer. It's just numbers. 60%, 60 over the course of a few years. That is so wild. What can so like what can I do um, to make like as a citizen of Augusta, what can I do to help me?
Yeah, so when we're marketing Augusta, we want the way we approach is we show a company everything.
Mm-hmm.
We want to show them the good, the bad, where they can be helpful in improving the community. And a lot of the investment we've had in Augusta, they bought into that.
Mm-hmm.
They don't just build a building, hire some people, operate, and they're kind of in a bubble outside. We want them involved in the community. We want them working to make a difference in improving the community. And many of the investments that we brought to Augusta, that's exactly the approach they take.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be in a community that's a quality community, and that as they have to recruit people in, if there's someone here that can't fill a job, they want a community that's strong and someone would want to move here and live, just like myself and my family did. We had to make a decision: as Augusta the place we thought we wanted to raise our children?
Mm-hmm.
And for us, it was. But a lot of the investments that we brought here, the executives of those companies felt the same way. They're
Okay.
sending executives here, they're hiring people locally, and they want to see those people thrive and they want to see the community thrive. So a lot of our industries are involved in philanthropic activities within the community because they want to see the community grow and they want to see everybody in Augusta continue to improve.
There's all these organizations. It's so fun to see these bigger companies get involved with like good organizations like Habitat or you've got Safe Homes. They're big. I participated in that, and it's fun to see these big companies come from outside the area, build here, and now they're sponsoring things.
Yeah.
And it's fun. That's exactly what happens. Um, I do want to ask one more question for you on the decision to move here. Um, was there one thing that you mentioned that you said no a few times?
I did.
So was there one thing that kind of just flipped that switch?
Well, I didn't like the approach of, if you're going to create hundreds of jobs, come see us. We'll try to help you. Everyone else, good luck, but don't bother us. I didn't like that approach.
Mm-hmm.
My predecessor here had been here a long time. The authority was kind of set in its ways, but the board really sold me. And when I come to a community, when I'm looking, because I've made a few jumps over my career, it's how does that entity that I would be working for involve itself in the community? How do they play in politics? How do they play with your elected officials? And how do they make a difference in the community? And the board at the time in 2017-18, they were well connected in the community. When I was here on interviews, I met with elected officials, I met with community leaders, and everybody had this vision of Augusta. We want to improve it. We're right on that precipice of really doing something great for Augusta. We just haven't gotten there yet.
Mm-hmm.
How do we push over that? And across the board, you've got warts in the community, but everybody was trying to find ways to improve that. And that's what really sold me on the community was we want to improve the community, and you have a blank notebook on how you want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I was fortunate. I got to hire the entire team. I've got an employee who's been there 26 years, but everyone since I've hired, we've assembled a team. Cheney Eldridge, who you probably talked to, who now runs Columbia County. She worked for me for 5 years before taking that job.
Mm-hmm.
But besides that, my entire team has been there for at least, let's see, I've got 2 7 years now, a 3 year, and then one that's just crossed his anniversary date. But we've got a solid team put together. My board has had some turnover with elections, but I still have a core group of board members who were here when they hired me, have
Mhm.
kind of seen our vision and have supported that vision. So having a team in place, getting to hire a team, having a group of community leaders who wanted to see Augusta grow, that's what really sold me on the community. And no matter what group of people they put me in front of, they all had that, we want to see Augusta improve. And that's what really sold me, because not every community feels that way. Some communities are like, we're good where we are, just leave it
Really?
be. And my approach is, if you ever just say we're where we want to be, you're going to start falling behind the other communities who are trying to improve.
Mm-hmm.
You can never just say, okay, we got to where we want to be.
Mm-hmm.
If you get to a goal, what's your next goal? How do you have continual improvement throughout the community? That's why we partner with the chamber. We partner with the Downtown Development Authority, partner with the CVB, partner with the technical colleges and the universities, partner with Habitat, partner with the other agencies within the community, because we all have to be finding what's that next goal for improvement for the community. And I saw that in Augusta.
Okay. There's you big bald Dylan guy.
No, I'm not.
He has a doesn't matter. He has a I'm not either. He's a little tough to get into. It's okay. But he's got this quote. He says, "If you those who don't get busy living get busy dying." you can say you can swap in living with growing.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And yeah, I think it rings true, right? It's especially in our, we've got so many cities. I feel like Augusta is compared to, and pressure creates diamonds. Fortunately, uh, that gets me excited. I see us starting to compare ourselves to other cities, going, they're doing this and they're doing this, and while it may seem a little bit hard on those who are trying to do well, I think it's a good signal that hey, we're paying attention.
And we do that. We benchmark ourselves against our peers throughout the Southeast. And,
Mhm.
and fortunately, over 20 some odd years now, I have connections in, 40 states.
Mm-hmm.
So you can really benchmark. And, I'm not afraid if if we see something someone's doing well elsewhere, we
Mm-hmm.
explore it, we reach out to them, we try to understand it and say, we can replicate it here. Take advantage of what other people's sweat equity. Can you find another program and can you put it in Augusta and can it be as successful as it was somewhere else?
Can you give us an example?
A program we've seen, Be Pro, Be Proud. We've started 3 or 4 years ago. We pay for that for the school system. So Be Pro, Be Proud. It's a mobile unit started in Arkansas, but it's been replicated in multiple states now, or licensed in multiple states. It's Cherokee County, Georgia, is where the license sits now, but they cover all 159 counties. So we made the decision to become a partner with them a few years ago. So for the first time this year, we were able to take almost 100% of 8th grade students through this mobile training unit. They get to see 8 skilled trades.
Okay.
It shows them here's the types of jobs in the industry. Here are the degrees or the certificates you need. Here are the current jobs on the market in those fields. Here's your expected pay. Here are possibilities of how you could pay for this education you would need for these. And our goal's always been to get every 8th grade student through. And this year, fortunately, with the school system, they've become a good partner. They bought into it. So I think we took 92% of 8th graders this year through that.
Okay.
Everyone had access, but 92% actually went through it. And you've got to get them in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
If you wait till 11th or 12th grade, it's almost too late. You've got to get them interested early and give them pathways and then give them options for what they want to pick and pursue and to see how they can, start quickly, get the education or the certificates you need or the skill sets you need, and then actually have a well-paying job and start creating opportunities for yourself.
Okay.
So I'm excited about that. And that was a program, like I said, started in Arkansas, and I was good friends with the developer in Cherokee County, who is now the deputy commissioner for the state. But she was good friends with us. We decided to partner with her. The board bought into it, the school system bought into it, and our industries have bought into it. So most of the years we have a speaker that is there saying, here are the jobs we currently have. You go through these programs and we want to talk to you. And it gives them a real world example of if I do this, here are some jobs locally in my own community that I can have, that I can support my family and grow and support my kids.
Okay. It's Be Pro, Be Proud.
That's correct.
Well, in our industry, I tell you what, these trade positions are just the income potential.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and my oldest son, who's now 30, he's an electrician,
Mm-hmm.
and he's done a lot better than he would ever have if he had picked some random degree.
Mm-hmm.
He's done very, very well, and I'm proud of him. And skill trades is kind of I'm probably a little older than you, but when I was there, you had the co-op programs. You went to school half a day, you went and worked half a day, and you created potentially a skill trade, whatever it was. You could still go to college, but at least you had that skill set to fall back on. We kind of got
Right.
away from that.
Right.
And we're seeing it come back, and it needs to be here. Those are jobs that people are now retiring. There's no backfill for it. So those jobs are demanding high salaries, but you got to have the skill set. It's a much harder job to just jump into. You've got to have the background. You've got to have those apprenticeships or those internships to have that underlying base skill set that then you can learn and start really creating either self-employment or entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm. I always enjoyed the AMP program.
Mm-hmm.
AMP. That's who sponsors that program?
Oh, here locally, I don't know.
It's but it's not AMP. I'm sorry, RPM. RPM.
Yeah, RPM. That's Textron.
That's Textron. Yeah. So they do they have kind of a presence in that other program as well? I know they're a big, so because they work with high schoolers, they bring them in.
That's right, and it's even more specific. It's at-risk high schoolers.
Okay.
So they bring them in. Textron, who's one of our great partners, they acquired the building, equipped the building, set up education and the on-the-job training, same building.
Mm-hmm.
So you you do so many hours of education a day, you do so many hours of work a day, and you really teach them skill sets. You make sure they get their education. That's been a hugely successful program.
Mm-hmm.
I wish we could replicate that with other industries. There's a lot of hard costs that go into that: acquiring the building, acquiring the square footage, paying the teachers, and giving them real world work. This is not just, idle work that you're trying to teach them something. This is real work. The parts that they make actually go into the process at Textron. Textron's done a fabulous job with that program. That's really an example that other communities could learn from. And honestly, people in Augusta who don't know about the program could learn about it, because you're taking those at-risk students and really giving them an opportunity to further themselves and making sure they get their education. Because at the end of the day, you still need that education.
Right. And they go into that workforce rather than, there's all the other avenues that could be detrimental to our area. Yep.
Absolutely.
No, it's a fantastic program. Those are exciting. What other industries maybe in this area do you think you could see that same process or program be applied to?
Well, we've been fortunate. We've had a lot of European investment choose Augusta as their home, and with their models where they're starting in middle school with their apprenticeship programs, I can see we've got Arubis with the German. They're a German-based, Hamburg-based company. I see them setting up apprenticeship programs with just across the street, GF Castings or Georg Fischer. They're Swiss. They have a similar background. I could really see apprenticeships really take off here, and we're working now to get those as they begin finishing their construction projects and go into production. How do we get them involved with the school system? How do we not only do technical college apprenticeships, but how do we go back into high school and do youth apprenticeships? There's some good models across the country. Tampa has one. Hopkinsville, Kentucky has one. There's one in Indiana, Minnesota that have those 17 and 18-year-olds working manufacturing jobs, learning a skill set, going to school, and having those youth apprenticeships. A lot of companies will shy away from that because those kids aren't 18.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can get them in there at 16, 17 years old, you got to do it safely. You got to do it in the right way. But you can really teach them in high school, give them opportunities, show them some skill sets, and then they can choose what to do with it after that. But you're catching them early, so they have a pathway very early. And a lot of times there's so many potential pathways, but so few kids are exposed to those pathways. So let's be honest, you can only do what you know about.
Right.
So how do you give them a much broader representation of opportunity so they're aware of it, and then they can see what they have a inclination to or what they have a liking to, and actually pursue it.
You mentioned these European companies are taking a big interest in Augusta, and you named off a few. And these are all pretty new companies. I know I'm aware of Arubis. I'm not aware of the other two. But why? Why Augusta for them?
That's a good question.
This could be an opportunity for you to brag a little bit.
It is. At the end of the day, they would say their relationship with us. Mm-hmm. So our world is a process of elimination. Like let's use Arubis for example. They had over 100 sites they considered in, I think it was 17 states. Mm-hmm. We kind of look at it as a funnel. They throw those 100 communities in, and they're risk averse. So of these 100 communities that on the surface meet all of our thresholds that we think we can be successful, and then they start eliminating. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we're eliminated on paper. We'll get a request with, let's say, 100 questions, and they're all different. Some are a 2-page form you fill out, a spreadsheet you fill out. Our biggest is 27-page spreadsheet. You got to fill out with all the data on Augusta, from workforce to utilities to sites. And it can be even weather patterns. Mm-hmm. I mean, it can be a whole list of data we've got to come up with. And for example, Arubis, they started with over 100, and then they just started eliminating down. They were probably in the 50 to 70 range of sites when they started making visits. Mm-hmm. And this is a team coming over from Europe, and they have facilities in both Western and Eastern Europe. So you had this mixed team from Germany and Belgium and Bulgaria and a few other assorted places. And they were trying to go to all these communities and say, okay, these make our cut. These are places we think we can be successful. And you went from 100 to 50 to 30 to 12 to 3. Mm-hmm. When they got down to the final 3, it was a site in North Carolina, a site in South Carolina, a site in Georgia.
Okay.
And it was when you get to that level of 3, so you've been eliminated for whatever reason throughout that process, you get down to the final 3 and we believe we can be successful in all 3. Which one is the right place? Mm-hmm. And they would tell you our relationship, our open, honest, like I said, we show the good and the bad. The worst thing we want to do is do what people call that Chamber of Commerce tour. You show them all the great things about the community, and then they get here and you left out all the bad.
Right.
5 years from now, they're gone. Mm-hmm. So how do you show them, here's all the great things we have, but here are our problems. if you locate here, we want you to help be a solution for the problems. And a lot of companies buy into that. They want to be here. They want to see that community grow, like I mentioned, and they help find solutions for you. And that's really what happened there is we said, here's your full picture. And Aruba said, we want to be a part of that solution.
Providing a purpose.
Exactly.
A little bit. Yeah.
It's not only job opportunities. I mean, they're very involved with, I don't know, 6, 8, 10 organizations locally, from Ronald McDonald House to the Heart Association. A lot of the places they want to be involved. They want their employees to be involved. A lot of times they pay their employees who go volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
They'll pay them their normal hourly wage to go volunteer.
And
that helps people volunteer when you're still getting paid to go volunteer. And Aruba's has taken that on themselves. That's not something we said you got to do. That's something they said we want to do.
Interesting. Wow, I was not expecting that. That caught me off a little bit. I was like, volunteer and payment are two typically very separate words.
Well, and that's top to bottom. That's not just your hourly employees going out and volunteering. That's your executives. That's your CEO. That's your COO, your CFO. They're all going out and volunteering too, and sitting on these boards and trying to make a difference.
Okay. Augusta itself, we got some pretty big things coming up. Like the big one is going to be the entertainment center.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. That's huge for us.
Huge. I always thought it was wild that the Georgia Dome gets built in like the 90s and gets torn down in 2017, and we have this JBA from 1970 something, and we still had it until a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And I can't believe it got torn down about a little over a year ago. I mean, it just time flies.
It does.
Time flies. Good gosh.
And now you can see the new one coming in out of the ground. That's an exciting step to see it, and to have all the announcements, the hockey coming, and those are vital things. I mean, we can find an industrial site or we can find a commercial site. We can help them find workforce, but you got to have a place people want to live. You got to have activities. I mean, we've got great proximity to Atlanta and Charlotte, but you got to have things locally that not only give people an opportunity, but it also creates revenue for the city. You got to be able to operate government. You have to have revenue flow, and these are things that help make that happen.
Who would you love to go see at the new arena? Like act? What are you into? What kind of big music guy?
You're not gonna like my answer, but my answer would be whatever my wife decides. My wife is huge into music. She loves concerts. I mean, Guitar Pull, that just happening, and her one thing she doesn't like about Augusta that we had in Clarksville being so close to Nashville is anybody you want to go see in Nashville, you're going to go see. And from my front door to downtown Nashville was less than 40 minutes. Nice. So we could leave the house and within an hour we're sitting at a venue, watching live music, watching a concert, and having the new arena here, having bigger acts come in, having entertainment opportunities. That will even help my wife love Augusta even more.
So who do you think who's on her short list these days?
I mean, she's anything from a Kenny Chesney fan to a. She's gonna hold this against me because I can't come up with more names. She's big into country music, but she's just a music lover in general. So it can be anything from country music to older rock.
Kenny did that little stint out there at the Sphere in Vegas.
He's doing it again this year.
Are y'all gonna go to that?
I'm taking her this year.
Oh yeah, I've heard that's gonna be. I heard that's a lot of fun. Yeah. They're doing the Wizard of Oz. They're doing a screening of the Wizard of Oz.
I saw that. Yeah,
I'll be out there for that. And it's like an orchestra.
I haven't been to the Sphere, so I'm pretty excited to see it. I've heard great things. I've talked to people who've went. She's pretty excited about going too.
It's otherworldly. They're doing these little mini concepts. They're popping up around. I think one's coming to Atlanta. I think they're like, it's like a Sphere-like situation where they have the technology, and I think they're trying to put a sports angle on it and make it like a little sports bar sort of thing. But that was just an incredible. You're gonna enjoy it. I'm really excited for you.
Yeah, me too. Well, I'm excited for hockey here because being in Nashville, having the Predators, and with Clarksville, the Predators were a great partner because as I was leaving, Clarksville was building their own arena. And their basketball is all played there. The Predators do some stuff because they put ice in theirs as well. And I'm a big hockey fan, so going to see the Predators and now having hockey here.
Okay. We'll have a call. I have a good story for you after the show. Well, you'll enjoy it. I always love hearing about it because if you don't care about hockey, the story's not good. If you like hockey,
Oh, I love
I have a
hockey.
great story. Um, is this new hockey team? Are we going to be a subsidiary of another team, like a bigger team?
Yes, the way I understand it, and I wasn't involved in the hockey piece. I was secondarily involved, but I believe it will be an ECHL team. There's 32 teams. I believe there are 32 NHL teams, so each team has an affiliate.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
believe the ownership groups has 2 or 3 other teams, and they all have an affiliate in the NHL, so there will be one here.
Okay.
I don't know exactly. It's not quite like baseball works, where you're, you know, low A, rookie A, low A,
You're
mid
sending
A,
back and forth.
double A, triple A. But I think it's very similar. Like if you're playing for Augusta, there is a parent club that you could go to if you get called up.
Okay. Okay.
And we'll be in the league. Athens got a new team a few years ago. My understanding is same league. So the Savannah team's in ECHL, Athens is in ECHL, and I believe the way it's set up, there are 32 ECHL teams, all with an affiliate of the NHL.
Where they play, like Stegman up in
They know
Athens?
they built their own ice.
That they're in. I know that because Georgia has a hockey team too.
Yeah.
That's a real cult
I
following.
actually I actually got to tour that facility back in April. So it is near the campus, and they were top couple of teams in the league this year. So they were going. I believe they were going into the playoffs. So they have their own separate. I forget what it's called, but they have their own separate facility with ice in it. They do other things there, but it's not at Stegman.
It's a little funny that that these southeastern teams are just the last decade have been just so dominant in the
Yeah.
NHL.
Look at Florida winning the last 2.
Right.
Yeah.
The Predators are in there. You got.
Now
I mean,
Predators are in hard times now.
they are in hard
They're
times,
bottom of the league. They're
but they
absolutely
were. But they were good.
they were good when I was there.
Yep. Yeah.
They were good after that, but this year they're dead bottom in the league.
They really.
They're awful.
Oh. Oh.
And they're not even. It's not a point difference or something. They're like 5 points worst team in the league.
They're
Awful.
just trash.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah.
I think one of their
Canes
best
are pretty good.
players just retired, midseason retired. So
Oh, that
they
bad.
they have a lot to do. They've had some retirements and traded their best player away. So there's a
Yeah.
lot to improve. But yeah, the top team in the league right now are the Avs.
We call it rebuilding. The Avalanche.
Yeah, the Avalanche. Colorado's best team
The
in the league
biggest
now.
team.
But
Okay.
Predators beat them last night. So the worst team in the league beat the best team
That's
in the
right.
league last
Stick
night.
it to them.
Yeah, that's right.
Makes sense.
It made them only like 3 or 5 points now, worst team in the league.
Oh Lord. Um, yeah, I can't wait for this. We'll tell this story. It's just too long for the camera. Um, so hockey's coming. We got some big musical acts. See that whole area, Midtown or down, the Old Town. Really excited for that area.
Yep.
What's coming there? Just
New Ramada being upgraded. I mean, there's a lot happening in downtown. And Margaret Woodard with Downtown Development Authority, good partner of ours. So we work a lot together because we're primarily on the industrial side. We're
Right.
not in the residential side. We're not in the mixed use side, but we partner from time to time to try to help.
Okay. Oh, I wanted to go back. Um, when companies are looking at this space, um, we ask that question, what we can do to help you help us,
Mhm.
right? From a citizen standpoint. Um, what are some things that drive you nuts when you go to all these the public forums, to the commissioners meetings, and just you see on Facebook and Instagram, social media in general, you know, events. What are things that you'd just like to see? What are things you're seeing that are detrimental maybe to our area?
It's
What
a
what are some criticisms that some industry leaders are giving you when you talk about Augusta, when you're pitching? Like, what can we do better?
Well, there's 2 different questions in there. One is, our elected officials let this small vocal minority drive their decision.
Okay.
Uh, it's those NIMBYs, not in my backyard.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want it in our community. We don't want industry. We do have that. We have a segment of our population that doesn't want industry. They don't want quality jobs. Some will say we're a cyber community now. We don't want manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
We need manufacturing. You generate wealth in your community from manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got to do it right. There are bad industries. There are environmentally dangerous industries. We don't recruit those.
Mm-hmm.
We recruit quality industries with good jobs that build quality facilities and have environmental protections, and they want to be good for the environment.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the companies we're after. Those are the ones we want. Everyone lumps manufacturing into this old mindset of manufacturing is dangerous. It's going to pollute the planet. We don't want it. So let's just all send it to China and let them have no regulations and just do whatever they want. There are
You'll pollute way more.
protections. Yeah, and there are protections in this country. There are entities that monitor these and will find them and will give them penalties if they do something wrong.
Mhm.
But we need a diversified economy of opportunities for all skill sets and all people within our own community, and manufacturing plays a key role in that. The healthcare that we have here plays a key role in that. The manufacturing, which is a key industry driver, Fort Gordon's a key industry driver. Savannah Riverside's a key industry driver. We need all of those. We need all of those different opportunities from the diversity of pay and skill sets, because everyone needs progression in their life to bigger and better opportunities. And it takes all of those different players in the community. And just to say blanketly, we don't want any manufacturing. We don't want any more healthcare. We don't need a new hospital, whatever it may be. We don't want a data center.
Mhm.
That's the Columbia County conversation right now. There's a place for all of it. It's got to be done responsibly and right, but it's not a blanket no for everything.
Mhm.
And we have that in Augusta. There are certain segments who will say no to everything, or a neighborhood that says you do anywhere else in Augusta but not here. Well, there are
Not
drivers for
exactly.
that. You got to have water, you got to have sewer, you got to have power, you got to have gas, whatever it may be. You got to have the right site, you got to have the right zoning. You got to do everything right, but a blanket no without understanding something is not productive for anyone.
You mentioned there, I think a big challenge that makes our area unique is um, have people from your leadership that's gone to Columbia County.
Yep.
You've got a whole river that runs through this whole area. The CSRA is not just one county; it's multiple counties.
Very much so.
I'm scared to say the number, but I know it's more than 3, maybe less than 99.
It's definitely less than 99. I think it's technically 7.
Yeah. But the CSRA makes up a lot, and you have a unique situation where you're in a city that borders a completely different state.
Yep.
Um,
Clarksville was the same way.
Clarksville the same way. Was that part of maybe why they were looking at?
I'm sure
looking at
there
you?
was some segment to that, because Hopkinsville, Kentucky was the next
Okay.
county over. Christian County, Kentucky, Montgomery County, Tennessee. Same there. The military base there, Fort Campbell,
Hmm.
split both.
Okay.
It was actually Fort Campbell, Kentucky, because the post office was on the Kentucky side of the military base on post. So Fort Campbell, Kentucky.
It goes right through the middle.
It does.
Who picked that spot?
So about
Because it makes it
60% of the
extra
post
confusing.
is in Montgomery County, 40% in Christian County.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's another county, Todd County, maybe, whatever it was. But we had a good relationship with Hopkinsville. And here, I don't think many people realize this. You got Cheney over in Columbia County. Before that, Robbie Bennett. You probably know Robbie.
Mm-hmm.
And Robbie helped get me here too, because I'd known Robbie 10 years before I came to Augusta,
Right.
because I'd been in Georgia before, and then Will Williams and Aiken.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that people don't know, or probably we don't talk about enough, is we travel together.
Right.
We market together. We
Mhm.
see this as a region. And for me, if something locates in Columbia County or in Aiken, it helps us.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned your numbers, guys. So for Augusta itself, 54% of the people who work in Augusta live in Augusta. That means 45.5% of the people who work in Augusta every day commute into Augusta from about 14, 15 counties.
Wow.
Biggest coming from Columbia County. 31,000 a day come from Columbia County to work in Augusta.
Okay.
11,000 come from Aiken every day to work in Augusta. But for us, we have every county there. Those 7 counties, or really probably more like 12 counties. Every one of those counties needs to be growing.
Mhm.
We need housing in every one of those communities. We need industry in every one of those communities. We need retail and commercial in every one of those counties. And our 3 offices, and then Austin and Burke County, really the 4 offices, we work together. I mean, during COVID, my counterpart in Burke County had COVID. I did their site visit for him. I showed the company around Burke County and their sites to try to help them locate in Burke
You
County.
had to know Burke County. What you do?
Absolutely. I
Right.
know Aiken.
You
I
know
don't
the county.
obviously don't know it as well as Richmond, but I know enough to show them around to hopefully keep them in the mix. We've had joint dinners, Robbie and I, before Robbie took the job at the CRO. We had a prospect in, and we had a joint dinner. We did a joint site visit. We showed them Richmond County sites, showed them Columbia County sites, and then all had dinner together.
Mm-hmm.
It's competition, but it's friendly competition, because, like I said, if a company locates in Columbia County, they're helping the citizens of Richmond County.
Right.
So that's a win for all of us.
Rising tide mindset.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And we've all have that. Cheney has that mentality. Will, Austin, myself, we all have that mentality. Our staffs have that mentality. Our
Mhm.
staffs work together. We just did the joint housing study.
Mhm.
We do joint labor studies. Um, we help each other with strategic plans. How can we better? We help with trying to find the right sites. One of our biggest problems right now is there's no industrial buildings. There's no industrial sites. There's no inventory. That's a good problem to have. It means we put people on the sites and there are jobs created on the sites, but we need more product to show companies so they potentially can invest here.
Land.
Yeah, land and buildings.
Okay.
And we still have a little bit of land, but there are no buildings.
No. Okay.
And we need buildings. I
Do you,
mean,
do you just build the buildings and then someone comes? How does that work?
yeah, spec. You call it. Most people would call it spec buildings. You put up a 50,000 or a 300,000 foot shell,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have something to market because it's really right now with tariffs and a lot of things happening. It's time to market.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to build a building, it's 12 to 18 months
Mm-hmm.
from even after you get through all the due diligence, and then you break ground, you pour your foundation, you put your walls up. It's going to be, and then get all your equipment installed. It's going to be 18 months
Mm-hmm.
to be operational. If you need to be in the market in 6 months, you got to have an existing building. And we lose projects because there are existing buildings in other communities, and they can take an existing building and retrofit it to their own needs and be operational in 6 months. That year is a big time difference for a company who needs to be in the market.
How do you go about breaking ground on a building for future use? What does that process look like?
So with property we own, or even some of the private landowners here that we partner with, so the way we do it, like our corporate park, for example, it's 1,800 acres.
Mm-hmm.
When I got here, the only industry in that park was Starbucks.
Mm-hmm.
We came up with an entire plan. We did all your environmental due diligence. You did all your geotechnical due diligence. We came up with water and sewer plans, power plans, natural gas plans, telecommunication plans, road plans,
Mm-hmm.
and had it all laid out. If you locate in this park, here is what we're going to build over time.
Okay.
Here are full plans, full layouts of what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So Aruba's located, Pure Cycle located, Georg Fisher located, Next Zero located. You now have 4 additional industries in there because we had all that work done ahead of time. So we've got a new 1,100 acre site that we're working on just south of the corporate park. Same thing now. One of the splost requests in there is for sewer to cover that area. Now the project covers sewer for that site, but it also covers sewer for another 1,500 home sites, retail, commercial sites. We did the same thing. We started with geotech. We started with wetlands delineation. We started with environmental due diligence
Mm-hmm.
to make sure we had a full plan. And there's been a little pushback by residents, but most of them understand it. They may not agree with it, but they understand because we have an example. We have the corporate park.
Right.
They see what we did, the quality employers we put in there, the lack of environmental problems that we've had with our industries,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what we hope to replicate.
You mentioned in there just what I like to hear was that the infrastructure of the sewer, the water lines, building that out, and what else can tie into that as a result of this project. Um, Sewer lines are a huge deal for
And
a lot of people.
and a huge cost.
I've seen more deals killed by lack of sewer lines.
Same. And especially because
Oh my
our goal
gosh.
is to have the entire county grow.
Right.
But when you get too far off of Windsor Springs or Tobacco Road or Peach Orchard or Deansbridge Road, you don't have sewer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to do anything more than a single family home on septic
Mm-hmm.
because you don't have sewer.
Right.
And sewer's expensive. You've got to have a plan. I mean, I'd love to see the entire county covered by sewer, but that cost is a huge cost, and it's going to be probably a 30, 40, 50-year build out to get it out there. So you got to do it smart. You got to plan it.
Right.
So right now we're trying to go down Mike Pageant, cover that area,
Mm-hmm.
and then hopefully eventually we can wrap it all the way to Peach Orchard to Windsor Springs,
Mm-hmm.
and open up more areas for both residential, retail, commercial, and even industrial growth.
I like it. Let's get off on this last question. Get off on the last question. Let's end on this last question. Cal, thank you for your time.
Absolutely, I've enjoyed it.
One thing. 2026 is about to be here. Oh my gosh.
It is.
One thing this upcoming year that you were just tickled to death, most excited about, really looking forward to, all those things that's happening here that you're just really pumped about. You may have already talked about it.
Kinda. So I'm excited by the activity we have.
Okay.
Now tariffs, hate them, love them. Depends on your perspective whether you do. The tariffs have driven activity.
Mm-hmm.
Companies who are being hit by tariffs who are manufacturing outside the U.S. are now looking for U.S. locations. So activities being driven. People are trying to find sites in the U.S., which is a goal. You want manufacturing in the U.S. You create your jobs in the U.S. Potentially, you create suppliers in the U.S. So that's exciting because of all the activity we have. I mentioned the 1,100 acre site. We have multiple mega projects looking at Augusta.
Okay.
So you mentioned we were talking before the show. You mentioned the Hyundai facility in Savannah with all
Mhm.
the jobs they've created. We have some of those type of projects looking at Augusta. That's
Okay.
exciting.
That's
But our
very
existing
exciting.
industry that's under construction, we talked about Arubis.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be going live this year with their production,
Mm-hmm.
but they have plans for future growth. Already under design. I'm excited to see what they continue to put in Augusta.
Mm-hmm.
Georg Fisher, I mentioned 12 to 18 months for a building. They broke ground to equipment installed, putting their first product out in about 13 months.
Boom.
Quick move, ready to go. They'll be hiring 300 people this year, 2026.
Mm-hmm.
300 people who will now be employed in Augusta. They have room for growth.
These are strong jobs, very strong jobs.
Absolutely. Strong jobs. I mean, you're talking starting pay in the $20 an hour range or higher.
Mm-hmm.
Higher. I won't get into that. People can go and look up those jobs that are posted and see what their pay is, but you're talking $20 an hour plus. These are not minimum wage jobs. These are quality jobs that people can have a very comfortable life off of,
Mm-hmm.
and continue to get skill sets on the job training and continue to grow. And a lot of these skills are transferable.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a job here, you get a skill set, you go get a better job and a better job and a better job. And before you know it, you're in a leadership role. But having those next year breaking ground, they're a French company. They'll be breaking ground this year. They'll be building their facility. Pure Cycle will continue their progress toward a production facility. But, I mentioned I've been doing this 23 years, and Arubis is that company that always under-promised and over-delivered,
Mm-hmm.
and they over-deliver in a big way. And knowing they have plans for future growth, we've talked about their involvement in the community, seeing that involvement in the community, seeing how they continue to want to grow. I'm excited about the activity and the potential for new investment in the community, but I'm excited to see companies like Textron and Arubis continue to grow, continue to make their investments, but continue to be that good corporate citizen who wants to help us make Augusta a better place.
I love it. I love it. Cal, it's been very eye-opening. I really appreciate your time coming out here. Thank you. So we
Happy to
spent
do it.
good
Happy
solid
to do it anytime.
50 minutes. So Victor's over here going to go. We they're good when we go over time. So it's great. Appreciate you and everything you're doing, and looking forward to see another good 8 years, maybe longer. I don't know how long you tend to.
Well, my youngest is in 6th grade, so at a minimum, I'd like to get her through high school.
There you go. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.